Thank you for listening to USB, Unaffiliated Sports Broadcast. This is the Week 10 review of the Grantsville Cowboys Varsity Juan Diego Catholic High School Soaring Eagles. That game took place last night, and we're going to go over that now. Hey, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing good. Hope your day is starting off right. Hey, as the intro said, this is the recap, the review of last night's game where the Grantsville Cowboys win that game 21 over the Juan Diego Catholic High School Soaring Eagles, who couldn't have a longer name. They score 7 points on the night. So Grantsville takes that one 21-7, the last regular season matchup of the season against a 5-4 Soaring Eagles team. So, with that, hey, listen, that was a good experience. It was cold. It was wet. You know, we had the weather delay. You saw people shivering. There was a lot of delayed celebration amongst the fans as they were all just sitting there freezing. And myself included, there was a point where I was trying to update the Instagram page, and I was like, I can't bend my fingers. I don't know what's going on. But it was a good game. Good game for us, at least. Not so much for Juan Diego. They lose to a very good Grantsville team on their homecoming night. Pretty rough for them. But hey, you know, they didn't seem to care all that much because the DJ for Juan Diego, he was doing a phenomenal job, and all their players were dancing the whole time they were down the entire game. So clearly it wasn't that big of a deal to them, but you know, hey, it is what it is. So let's kind of get into it a little bit. I did look this morning. No stats seem to be posted on Max Preps yet, which is okay. You know, once those come out, I can do my outstanding performance and, you know, bounce back player, stuff like that. I can do all that kind of stuff once those come out. But for the review, I wanted to do it while I was a little fresh in my mind so that I didn't speak too much out of context, because I know that I've messed some things up previously, and I'm probably going to continue to. So if you don't, you know, if you want to correct me, by all means, reach out to me. I'm perfectly fine saying when I mess something up. All right. But either way, it was a big night for Jaden Atkinson. Apparently he heard me say that I thought they were going to need to rely on the short passing game with number 19, Fuentes. And apparently he took that personal, and he rushed for 3 touchdowns last night. 3 touchdowns. So fantastic job to him. You know, good job, man, getting into that end zone, 3 rushing touchdowns. Had all the points for the Cowboys in that one. You know, Van Vliet had a pretty good night. He had some overthrows. You know, looked like he was really jacked from going to the gym or something. He was throwing about 15 yards over their head on a couple of them. But hey, you know, he had good completions when they needed them. Receivers made the catches. I know Fossen had a handful of catches. Fuentes had a couple catches. I'm not sure. I know Jensen plays on the outside. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Dang it. Now, the one I remember for sure, the defender made a pretty good play on it. So I'm not sure what he might have ended up with. Once I get those stats, I'll put all that out. But yeah, pretty good, all around pretty good game for the offense. Which is a nice change of pace because, you know, we've kind of been accustomed to seeing them struggle, especially, you know, they either come out guns blazing or it's a uphill battle. So good all-around performance, I think, for the offense. And, you know, when I did the update yesterday, I was talking about the weather potentially being a problem. So when I looked at it, it was supposed to start, you know, kind of being lousy weather right around kickoff time. And that kind of got pushed a little bit. We did end up in a weather delay right around, I think there was like a minute 27 left in the first quarter, if I recall correctly. And then they shut us down for about 30 to 40 minutes for lightning. And then the rain, of course, didn't start until after that. But, you know, fumbles was, you know, ball security was something that I talked about. And both teams did end up having some fumbles. It was definitely more detrimental for Juan Diego than it was for Grantsville in that situation. Juan Diego's only score came off of a big run by the quarterback on a quarterback keeper. And, you know, normally I'd say, hey, listen, defense dropped the ball on that one. But listen, I think that was really just a really good executed play. I think it fooled everybody. It definitely fooled me. I think it fooled even their announcer for a second because it took him a second to realize the quarterback was still running up the field with the ball. So no blame there. I think that was just a really good offensive play by Juan Diego, but it was pretty much the only one they had. So that got them on the board. That was sometime after halftime. Pretty decent pretty decent kickoff returns. You know, one thing I gotta shout out. There was a moment in that game where it looked like Juan Diego might be starting to kind of get back into it. They had the quarterback run. They were giving the Grantsville offense the business, and you know they were keeping them in on their own side of the field, and they had to punt it out, right? And Van Vliet kicks a straight line punt that gets a great bounce, and this thing takes it all the way to the other, I think it was like 15 or something like that, 15-yard line, and pins Juan Diego deep. And man, that punt was clutch. So if you're listening to this, great job, young man. I mean, hey, whether it was mostly luck or if you've been practicing how to get it to bounce like that, it's irrelevant. Great job on that. That was without a doubt, I think, the one thing that really just probably kind of soul crushed the Soaring Eagles for a moment, because they had Grantsville in a good spot. It was, you know, and earlier in the game there was a couple, you know, there was a short punt, you know, so they were probably thinking that they were going to get that again, get a short field, be able to tie the game up, or at least have a better opportunity to do it. And that punt just kind of killed that. And the defense did a phenomenal job last night. Plain and simple. They did a great job. And I believe it was 17 Crew Warren. I believe that's who it was. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, please. But I'm pretty sure that's who it was. He had pretty much the ceiling interception. He took all. It probably wasn't likely that Juan Diego was going to get back in the game. But as they started marching down towards the end of the fourth quarter there, you know, they looked like they could potentially get in there. And they started throwing the ball, and Crew Warren, I believe it was Crew Warren. Please correct me if I'm wrong. He snagged it. Didn't look like he was going to catch it at first. Kind of bobbled a little bit and then snags it. Great interception for him. And that killed any chance that Juan Diego had of even remotely getting back into that game. The defense did a phenomenal job. In fact, I would argue that this is the first time that I felt like both the offense and defense collectively contributed. Not contributed. That's a horrible word to say. That was the wrong word for what's in my head, because they both obviously contribute, right? Complemented. That's the word I was looking for. Apologies. This is the first game, I think, they complemented each other very well. Usually we've seen the defense will do a good job getting the offense the ball, and the offense kind of struggles, or the offense is able to move the ball, but then the defense gives something up, right? And I feel like in this game in particular, they played very complimentary on both sides of the ball. The offense wasn't putting the defense in too many bad spots. The short punt kind of screwed them, but not too bad. And the defense did a phenomenal job of giving the offense a great opportunity. So it was a very good all around win for the Cowboys. Again, like I said, I want to shout out that defense. They did a phenomenal job stopping the run. What was it? There was like one, maybe two decent runs for Juan Diego. Other than that, it was about 2 to 4 yard chunks, right? Which is their game plan. But Grantsville did a great job at stopping that. And then when they did try to pass the ball, the secondary was on top of it. So I think they had like 2 completions, maybe 3. But they weren't for very many yards. Couldn't even get the first down off of them, I don't think. So fantastic job, outstanding job by that Grantsville defense. You guys did a phenomenal job. As for the offense, I really thought you guys were going to have to pass more. And, like I said, Atkinson, I don't know if he just wanted to go out with a bang on the regular season or if he heard what I said and he took it personal. Either way, great job to him because he had 3 rushing touchdowns. So the rushing game was there. The passing game was there. There was, like I said, there was a couple passes where it's like, ooh, I don't know if, Van Vliet should have threw that one. You know what I mean? But, hey, it worked out in the end. And, I'm sure he's going to see that and work on that kind of stuff moving forward. So, great all-around win. It really was. Again, like it was the first cold game. It's been abnormally warm. And, even as a fan, like I said, we were standing out in the bleachers freezing. There was a point where, I don't know if I already said it because I had to re-record this, but there was a point where I was trying to update the Instagram, right? And put out the quarter updates and things like that I try to do. And my dang fingers wouldn't bend, man. So it got pretty chilly. There was a delayed response in some of the fans' reactions because I think they were cold, So the touchdown would go up and it'd be about, it seemed longer than it probably really was, but it'd be like 1 to 2 seconds, and then everybody would be like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? People were cold, and so. I'd mentioned that being a factor. At least I thought it was going to be a factor. I'm sure it was a factor, honestly. But Grantsville did a great job of not letting it damper the way that they performed. Because again, this was the first cold weather game of the entire season for these guys. Really, I mean, it's been pretty good football weather most of the season. So, this was the first winterish style game. We got a taste of some cold weather, and they did a great job. They did a great job. They were probably cold. Definitely the people, who don't spend a lot of time in the game were probably cold for sure. But they did a great job, and it was a good game for us. I think if I don't want to shoot Juan Diego down too much. Like, they did some good things on defense too. They just didn't do enough good things, and ultimately it cost them. You know what I mean? They stopped the run, a fair amount of times. They played some good defense on some of Van Vliet's passes. There was some overplayed defense that helped us out even more. Some penalties, that pass interferences that Juan Diego would ultimately have to pay for, right? But they didn't do a terrible job. So I guess, in all aspects of it, it was a pretty good game. I mean, 21-7, that's not a blowout. It's a pretty decent game, right? So I don't want to make it sound like Juan Diego didn't show up. They definitely did. They showed up. They just got outplayed. And and we get to say that this time going around, that they got outplayed, because again, I think that the offense and the defense played very complimentary football in this one. They both did a phenomenal job. Once again, that defense for the Cowboys, I thought that there was going to be some bigger runs for them up the middle. So kudos to those linebackers, those defensive linemen, those safeties. Kudos to you guys for stopping that. You guys did a fantastic job, and you guys deserve credit for it, because you really shut down. I mean, that's their bread and butter, right? That's what they do, and they've executed it for the entire time I've been watching them. But they execute it, and you guys did a phenomenal job of stopping that. So I can't stress enough how impressed I was at your ability to do that, especially after last year, right? Last year was a close loss, right? So coming back and kind of, reestablishing that, you guys did a fantastic job. So again, that final score for the Cowboys over the Juan Diego Soaring Eagles: Cowboys 21, Juan Diego Catholic High School Soaring Eagles, with an extensively long name, 7. That's it. Jaden Atkinson, again, with 3 rushing touchdowns. Great job. Great job to that young man. Once the stats do come out, I'll do all my outstanding performance stuff and things like that I like to do. I like to do to shout out these players, just so everybody understands. I am not making anything off this. I don't intend to make anything off this. If it gets to that level, then we'll figure that out, I guess. But I don't think it's going to. This is literally just to show some love to these young athletes for all the hard work that they do, everything that they put into it, that they might not get recognition, And so I'm trying to get that out there for them. And I'm trying to do that for all three of the schools, and I guess 4 here soon. But I'm trying to do that for all 3 of the schools. I'm sure I've missed some things here and there. By all means, please reach out to me. Let me know who I should be looking at if I'm not thinking about a certain player on your team, okay? Because I know we've got people in Chihuahua that listen. I hope we've got some people in Stansbury that listen. I know there's a couple of their players that follow the page, but I don't know if they're listening. And I know we got a bunch in Grantsville, okay? So if there's somebody that you think I should be shouting out that I'm not, please reach out to me. I'm just trying to give these kids, so these young men, I keep saying kids, and I'm trying not to say kids. I'm just trying to give these young men some love, man, for all the hard work that they've put in, for everything that they do. So that's going to go ahead and wrap up this recap. Again, once the stats come out, I'll put out all that other stuff. But But until then, I hope you enjoyed this, and please take care of yourselves. And yeah, we'll see who we're gonna play next as the Cowboys. And I think I might have messed up. I don't know if Tooele is gonna get another game, because their region's a little bit bigger, I think. So I don't know. I hope so, but if we'll address that, and I'll correct that a little bit later. But again, this was the Grantsville Cowboys Juan Diego review. Cowboys take that one 21 to Juan Diego's 7. Have a good day, guys. Hey, thank you for listening to Unaffiliated Sports Broadcast, better known as USB. The podcast is available on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon Music, and YouTube. For all the up-to-date information, head over to Instagram. Please like and share that content to get these young men the recognition that they deserve. If you like what you heard, please head over to these platforms, like and follow all of these, especially on YouTube, so that we can start doing some live broadcasting, live from the events, and actually talking about it in the moment, okay? So from there, I hope you have a great day, and please take care of yourself.